Oklahoma running back Jaydn Ott is going to debut against Illinois State as RB3 behind Jovantae Barnes and a true freshman. Let's talk about what we can infer from that and what Ben Arbuckle had to say about his running back room headed into week 1. What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching, adapt and respond. Thank you for joining us here. We talk college football year round. If you're into that, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like this video, and answer the question in the comments below. Do you think Jaydn Ott will finish this season as Oklahoma's RB1? Because he might not. And there's a reason as to why he started RB3. Remember, Jaydn Ott was one of the prize portal pickups for Oklahoma in this last cycle and one of the best running backs to hit the portal. As a matter of fact, I think that he ranks just ahead of Ahmad Hardy, who rushed for 1,300 yards at ULM last year and is going to be at Missouri this year. Ott, though, didn't have a great 2024. He was injured most of the year, but the last time that he was healthy, he rushed for over 1,300 yards at Cal. The thought is he could be Oklahoma's first true bell cow back since Eric Gray, which is also the last time that Oklahoma had a 1,000-yard rusher in a single season. And Eric Gray went for over 1,300 yards in that year. I also think it's important to point out that alongside John Mateer, we're looking for a 1,000-yard back at Oklahoma for the first time with a 3,000-yard passer since 2018, when Kyler Murray could have satisfied both of those things, as he's a 4,000-yard passer and a 1,000-yard rusher, which is wild even now to think about. Also had a 1,000-yard rusher in Kennedy Brooks. That was also the last time that Oklahoma was really, really outstanding with its rush game and its running back room at the same time, right? Jalen Hurts was outstanding as a rusher at Oklahoma with over 1,200 yards and finished Heisman runner-up in 2019. And ever since then, it's been the high watermark that Oklahoma has been trying to get back to, really. This is a team that got throttled by that generational LSU team who basically beat Oklahoma like it stole something, stopped a mud hole in it, and walked it dry. This is also a tremendously important year for not just Brent Venables, but Oklahoma and the future of the program. While Texas hit the ground running in the SEC, making the SEC championship game, and making the college football playoff only to lose to the team that will win the national championship in the semifinals, Oklahoma has its back against the wall going into year 2 of the SEC, coming off of a 6-7 year. Yes, there was the win against Alabama late in the season, but there was also the beatdown by LSU, and there was the loss to Tennessee, and there was the beatdown by South Carolina. There's the firing of the offensive coordinator. There is the jettison of the former 5-star recruit in Jackson Arnold. And now Oklahoma needed to go into the portal and land what I think is the best quarterback available in the portal during this cycle. They did that again with Jaydn Ott, and you expect Deion Burks to return to being the kind of guy that can take over at wide receiver in the way that Oklahoma has been really tremendous in the past 20 years. I mean, I could take this all the way back to Mark Clayton, really. I could take it to Ryan Broyles. I could take it to, my goodness, Hollywood Brown started wide receiver 3 his first year. It kind of feels like that for Jaydn Ott, if we're being honest. CeeDee Lamb, Sterling Shepard. There is a tremendous wide receiver history at Oklahoma that just doesn't get as much conversation as it should. But Oklahoma has been a running back school forever, dating back to the wishbone with Barry Switzer and how Oklahoma was dominant from, basically 1974, 73, all the way through to 1987, and then back again with Bob Stoops' run in the 2000s through to Lincoln Riley, now to Brent Venables. But new offensive coordinator Ben Arbuckle made it very clear why the running back depth chart looks the way that it does. Tory Blaylock, true freshman who averaged over 9 yards per carry last year in high school, and Jovantae Barnes showed toughness, grit, and the ability to develop during preseason camp in a way that Jaydn Ott simply did not. One of the things that Arbuckle said about how they're going to look at the running back room going into this game against Illinois State is trying to figure out what the personnel should be going in to play the game. And then I love this quote: you have to try and find the specific strengths that all of them have and put them in the situations to be successful. I think we're fortunate that in the running back room, we have guys there who are really talented, who can do a lot of different things. But again, if a guy's hot, I'm not going to take him out of the game. If he's running well, if he has a good mindset through every play and every drive of the game, it's going to be really hard to just take him off the field for just somebody else. But at the end of the day, you got to play the strengths of those guys and what the game plan calls for. But also there's a coach element to it and a football element to it. So if that guy's rolling, you don't cool him off. I love this. This is also him saying, hey, we got other guys behind Jaydn Ott, Jovantae Barnes, and Tory Blaylock too. Xavier Robertson is there. Taylor Tatum shows me he can't put the ball on the floor. Everything will be fine there. But yeah, Taylor Tatum was putting the ball on the floor. I can't have cornerbacks put the ball on the floor. That's the 11th sin in the Old Testament. You can look that one up. That one's in Exodus. Robinson also finished really strong last year, and there is a growing contingent of Oklahoma fans who are like, yo, hand that dude the ball. And one of the reasons is he had 233 yards, 4 TDs on 49 carries to finish last year. But one of the other reasons that I thought it was interesting that Ben Arbuckle went out of his way to say, yeah, Jovantae Barnes and Tory Blaylock. Jovantae Barnes was the leading rusher at running back for Oklahoma last year, and he's a load, right? He is a power back. But one of the traits that you want from a power back, from any running back, is their ability to pass protect, and that is a way to get you on the field very, very quickly. If you can pick up blitzers, linebackers, edge rushers, guys that are coming late, delayed blitzes, you can play a lot of football at anywhere, let alone Oklahoma. This was Zeke Elliott's claim to fame at Ohio State and at the Dallas Cowboys later. This is the separator. Can you be the guy that is protecting the quarterback when it ain't your turn to get the ball and he's got to get the ball out in, let's say, longer than 2 seconds and make something happen out of structure? One of the ways in which Arbuckle put this was toughness, the resiliency that Blaylock and Barnes showed all fall was there in camp. Those guys were staples in fall camp, he says, just in terms of they were there every single day. There were times where their bodies were probably hurting, but they knew they needed to be in those moments. I just appreciate those guys because they allowed us to practice the way we need to practice, and they brought it every single day, and they both got so much better every single day. He goes on. And Tory, as a young guy with reps that he was able to get in this fall camp, it sped up his development and made his ceiling even higher. And so I have nothing but respect for those two kids. They were awesome during fall camp, and they're great kids and respectful as they come. They're sharp as they can be too, and they're team guys. If they've got to pick up a blitzing Kobe McKenzie in the A-gap, they're going to do that. And then if they need to, they're going to do something out of the backfield. They're going to do that. They're going to do what's best and their best, make the best of their ability. So those two guys are awesome. A young offensive coordinator who is looking for an opportunity to prove that he is exactly what Oklahoma needs at a moment when Oklahoma needs an offense that's going to be prolific. This is what you want to hear if you're an OU fan. Full stop. This is great. You also know that Oklahoma's coming off of its worst offensive season since the 20th century. Just 331 total yards, 24 points. Oklahoma routinely would put up 550 yards of offense, 40 points. That's what you want to get back to. And now that we know the kind of grit and nasty and toughness that a young guy like Arbuckle is looking for from his running back room, I expect that across the board. I really do. Oklahoma's experienced at offensive line. It's got some really great wide receivers that can step up. It's going to be better defensively. They'll name the number against Illinois State. They're a 30-point favorite. But the next week, they play Michigan, which is where we're really going to find out, is Jaydn Ott going to be a guy that gets touches, or is Tory Blaylock or Jovantae Barnes or even Xavier Robinson, Taylor Tatum, my goodness, going to become the new bell cow back?